Welcome class back to Project 3 Web Applications. This video is the second video for Project 3, and so we're going to begin on page 384 with starting an app. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is go ahead and get your Learning Log virtual environment activated once again. So you can go ahead and open up a terminal, change the directory to Learning Log, and then we'll type in the command that is used for Windows, ll_env, because that's the virtual environment that we set up in the previous video, and then scripts, so \scripts, and then activate. Okay, so now your prompt should change to that ll_env. Okay, so that's where we're going to be working from. So that was noted on page 385. So what you see there in the code is Linux code. So the first line there where it says source ll_env bin activate, you're going to replace that with this statement that I just typed. Okay, then we'll just continue to go down. So Python manage. So start app and learning _logs. Okay, so the command start app, and then our app name is going to be learning _logs. Okay, and this is telling Django to create the infrastructure that is needed to build an app. Okay, so the next thing it has to do is an ls, which is a dir for us. So we can see we have learning logs in our list now, and if we change to learning logs and do our dir, we will see where they have the files listed that they have as well. So the init, the admin, the apps, the migrations, models, tests, and view. The next step is to define models. Okay, so let's think about our data for a moment. Each user will need to create a number of topics in our learning log. Each entry they make will be tied to a topic, and these entries will be displayed as text. We will also need to store the timestamp of each entry. So we're going to show users when they made each entry. So we're going to open up models py. Okay, so your models py file is found in the learning _logs. And so we're going to add in the content that you see at the bottom of page 385. Now later on you will get into a chapter that talks about classes. So don't worry if you don't fully understand what is being added as far as code is concerned. When we type the string function, we want to make sure that we're using 2 underscores before and after. And we always enter in the docstrings. The docstrings are going to give us basically a comment about what we are entering in of the code that is to come. Okay, so this is your models py file updated. Okay, it's always a good idea to look at the code again and just make sure that you have everything coded correctly. Of course, when we get errors, we will deal with them and figure them out. So I'm going to go ahead and save this file. Okay, and now we're on page 386. So what is going to happen as we enter in code, they are going to be labeled. So the bottom of page 385, you can see that there's a 1, 2, and a 3 next to the code lines. And when you switch it to page 386, those are going to be described. So for example, line 1 was this line 6 in my code. And it says, you use the character field when you want to store a small amount of text, such as a name, a title, or a city. When we define a character field attribute, we have to tell Django how much space it should reserve in the database. So here we're saying the max length is 200 characters. Okay, date added is talked about next to the next paragraph. It's used in a date time field, a piece of data that will record a date and a time. So a good idea always to read through the information, right? So that we actually know what's going on. Then we talk about string. String method to display a simple representation of a model. Here we've written string method that returns the string stored in the text attribute. So this attribute right here is connected to this attribute defined up here. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to activate models. So here we need to go to the settings file in the learning log folder. Okay, so we've got learning log, and then we've got nested in that is learning logs. But here we're going to learning log. Okay, so we'll go into settings, and here down with the installed apps, we are going to add in our app. Okay, so we'll add in a comment that says my apps, and we're going to add in learning logs, comma. Okay, so make sure you got that comma in here, and then put in the comment in default Django apps. Okay, and save that file. Okay, so we're grouping together all of our installed apps. Okay, so it's important that we place our own apps before the default apps in case you need to override any default behavior that would be defined in these apps. Okay, the next step we're going to come back is to our terminal. And in our terminal, we are going to use Python manage. Okay, and this time we're going to use make migrations. So make migrations, okay, and then learning logs, okay. So make migrations is going to tell Django to figure out how to modify the database so it can store the data associated with any new models that we have defined. So you'll just see that I received an error here that said no such file or directory, and that's because I'm still in learning logs, okay? So some of these things might happen to you along the way too, so we just need to go back up a directory level, so it's cd space, use the 2 dots, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my up arrow to bring back that command. Okay, so creating 001 initial.py, and we created the model topic. Okay. Now we need to apply the migration and have Django modify the database. Okay, so scrolling down here, I'm going to go ahead and use manage again. This time I'm going to just say migrate. So anytime we want to make changes to our database, we're going to use the migrate command. Okay, and so applied all migrations, and we've got success there. So whenever we want to modify our data that learning log manages, we'll follow 3 steps. We'll modify the models py file. We will call make migrations on learning logs, so this command right here. And then we will tell Python or Django to migrate the project. Okay, so the next part is setting up a super user, so the Django administration site. So here we're going to type in the command Python manage, and then we're going to do create super user. Okay, all one word there. Okay, so then we can enter in our information. So we're going to use ll_admin. Okay, you can enter in your email address or you can leave it blank. Password, you're going to have to enter that in. You have to type it again. Okay, and then the super user created successfully. Okay, so my super username is, again, LL_admin. Okay, next we're going to register a model with the administration site. Okay, so we're going to come over and look at another file, and it's called admin. Okay, so admin, and we are going to modify it to incorporate the topic, okay, to register topic model. So registering the models here, we're going to enter in the code at the bottom of page 388 from models. Okay, and what the period means is that we're looking in the same directory as the file that we're typing in. So if we look over here, we'll see that models is in the same directory as our admin file. Okay, so import topic, and then admin site.register, and we're bringing in topic. Okay, so we'll go ahead and save. Okay, so this code first imports the model we want to register, which is topic. And again, the dot in front of model tells Django to look for models py file in the same directory as admin py. The code admin.site.register tells Django to manage our model through the administration site. So next, we want to make sure that our server is still running, okay? So this step right here, I'm actually going to try it over here by adding admin to the end. Okay, so this is the path. Okay, and if this doesn't work, okay, this is your flag that this server is not running, okay? So if you get this unable to connect, okay, you're going to go back and you're going to type in the command that's found on page 383, and that is python manage.py run server. So whenever we're viewing over here through our local host, we want to make sure that our server is running here through our virtual environment. Okay, so python manage.py run server. Okay, and we can always control C over here to quit the server from running. So now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do a refresh. Okay, and now we have where we're going to be able to enter in our username and our password. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and enter in my username and my password. Okay, and now I see what I see on page 389. So now I see here is my topics model. Okay, so if you forget, there's a note on page 389 that says if you get that unable to connect, that's your flag that you need to do python manage py run server. Okay, then it says to add topics. So we're going to add a topic of chess, and we're going to add a topic of rock climbing. So we'll click on add. So here's chess. Save and add another. And here we go, rock climbing. You can tell I've done this already. No, we don't want to do that. Okay, so let's see if I can just click. Let's see if I can just get back out of here. Yep, there we go. I just clicked on topic. So those were the two that I wanted to go ahead and add. Okay, from there we're going to go and we're going to define the entry model, okay, in models py. Okay, so we're going to create another class inside of our models file. Okay, so I am going to actually pause this video and I'm going to type it and then I'll be back. Okay, there is the code for class entry entered in. Okay, so the first attribute, I got it spelled wrong there. So the first attribute, topic, okay, is a foreign key instance. And so what does that mean? A foreign key is a database term. It references another record in a database. Okay, this is the code that's going to connect each entry to a specific topic. Each topic is assigned a key or an ID when it's created. Django needs to establish a connection between two pieces of data. It uses the key associated with each piece of information. Okay, the on delete, did I miss a line here? Oh, the on delete, okay, attribute here and for foreign key is models cascade argument tells Django that when a topic is deleted, all the entries associated with that topic should be deleted as well. Okay, so everything below it is just going to cascade through and go ahead and delete that. Okay, the meta class holds extra information for managing a model. Here it's going to allow us a special attribute telling Django to use entries when it is needed, okay, to refer to more than one entry, of course. And then the string method tells Django which information to show when it refers to individual entries. Okay, so next we have to migrate the entry model. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save this file. Okay, and so when we make changes, remember we have that 3-step process. And that 3-step process, just as a reminder, is we've just modified models. Okay, the next thing is we call make migrations, and then we have to migrate the project. Okay, so on page 391, we are going to go ahead and make migrations. So I'm actually going to Control-C to stop running the server. And then I'm going to find my make migrations, okay, in learning logs. Okay, and they're successful, so didn't have any typos, okay. Doesn't happen always for me. And then we're going to go ahead and do Python manage, okay, or the manage py migrate. Okay, so working with the database. Okay, so successful there as well. Okay, the next thing is we're going to do is register our entry, okay, registering entry, so this class that we just created here with the admin site. So we want to add it to our list of imports, okay, and then we'll just create another line, and we're going to change this to entry. Okay, so now for us to save these changes, we need to go back and we need to activate the server, okay, so we need to do the run server command. Okay, so get that back up and running, and then we will come back over here and we are going to go to just admin. Okay. Okay, and here we are. Now we have entries, okay, in addition to topics. So the next thing we do is we want to add some entries. Okay, and the good news is you don't have to watch me typing. I'm going to copy and paste them. So we're going to add an entry, and we're going to add an entry for chess. So entry, the topic is going to be chess. And then I'm going to open these chess entries. The first 2 paragraphs here. And then click save. I believe there's another one for chess. Yep, so I'm going to save and add another. And then add this paragraph. Okay, for chess. And save. Then this one is going to be for rock climbing. So let's go ahead and add rock climbing. And let me go ahead and get my rock climbing file open. And this is just one entry for rock climbing. And save. So you'll notice that when we view these that we have about 50 characters, right? Okay, so if you kind of had to guess at that, you'd probably say 50 characters. So if we go back to models, there it is, return self.text and the first 50 characters, and then ... Okay, so that is adding in our registering entry with the admin site and actually viewing them through learning log here. So now we go back to the Django shell. Okay, and we are going to just kind of look through it through our terminal, okay, and that's where we'll kind of finish. So let's go ahead and Control-C to get out of our run server, okay, and then we're going to do Python manage py shell, okay, and this is the bottom of page 392. Okay, and so it says here, we got our Python prompt, so we're going to go from learning _logs .models import topic. Hey, I think we typed that before. Okay, so now we'll say topics .objects .all. Okay, so remember that you can enter commands, any Python command, from the Python command prompt. Okay, so we've done this back in chapters 1 and 2. And so it's no different here, okay? So this one says, did I type it wrong? It's topic, okay? When we get into this project a little further, where the S is at and where the S isn't is going to be all challenging for all of us, okay? So there we get the query set, topic of chess and topic of rock climbing. Okay, we'll further go down to the bottom of page 392 and set up a variable called topics, where we'll use topic.objects.all. Okay, we're creating a query set here. Okay, and what a query set means is there's more than one value, and so we're going to use a for statement, which we will get into, or already have gotten into, depending on if you're in an 8-week course or if you're in a 16-week course. So topic.id and topic. Right, and then you have to hit enter again, and then you'll see that the two topics are entered there. Okay, the next is we'll just create a variable called t, and we've got topics, or topic.object, objects.get, and then we give it the ID of 1. Okay, t.text. Okay, so our t variable, adding the text method to it, we get chess back. And we continue on, and we can do t date added, and now we get our date time stamp. Okay, further we can do t entry underscore set dot all. Okay, and hit enter, and then we get all of our entries. Okay, and again, they are truncated so that we don't have to output them all. Okay, that is pages 384 through 394 in your textbook, the second set or second video for your project web applications. If you have any debugging issues along the way, please don't hesitate to reach out, and I will help you through that. Thank you.